Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
O'Connor Orchid Estates Apartments. Located in the center of the small town of Reading, Ohio, it is widely regarded as the world's most haunted location. Join world-renowned paranormal investigators Abigail Reynolds and Michael Colby as they immerse themselves into every aspect of life in this building and expose the truth of its horrific history. Join us for My Creepy Haunted Life.
Jack Billings presents Haunted Apartment Complex, starring me, Jack Billings, obviously.
Damn it! How did you even get in here, Jack?
Well, let's get spooky, crew.
Hey, Twisted Listeners, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Diva.
And this is Twisted Listeners, a podcast about murder.
And lists.
And we're brought to you by the Podmoth Podcasting Network. Check out all the other podcasts.
Yeah.
And we are both COVID-y.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're wishing you all a very Merry COVID Christmas. That's the songs I've been singing. We wish you a Merry COVID. I've been doing a lot of riffs on that.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
It's been great. It's
Yeah.
really easy to overexert yourself. It's really easy to feel like shit. It's weird because I'm not like super overtly sick, but then I sort of am. Like as soon as I think I'm fine and I'll, like,
you forget about
like
it.
and then you try to act like a normal human and COVID's like, go fuck yourself. So
Yeah,
it's really
I just
fun.
miss going to stores. I really like a lot of my stores locally, and I'm sad about it. I want to get up in Trader Joe's like so bad right now.
Yeah, quarantine is bullshit.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm gonna test on Friday and hopefully be free, but I'm not holding my breath. So anyway, that's our news.
Woo!
Hope y'all are doing better than we are. Although
Lots of quality
honestly,
research time though on my couch and quality time with my cats. They're very happy.
Yeah, dude, I've got a lot done like reading wise this week, which has been nice. And honestly, as far as COVID goes, like I simply cannot complain because I feel pretty good. Yeah.
And we were just saying we got out of the way, so we're safe for Christmas now.
Yeah, we're who everybody's going to want to hang out with because there's no way we're going to give it to you. We've already got it.
I'm going to a wedding on Sunday, I hope, and then I'll be hopefully everyone can breathe on me.
Nice. Oh, that'll be fun to get breathed on and not have to be afraid. Even in the back of your mind, you won't have to worry at all. So
yeah.
Although again, honestly, if it was like the old school flu or COVID, for my COVID experience, I'd rather have COVID.
Yeah.
It's more of like a sleeper illness for me, so I'm very lucky.
Quiet, yeah.
Anyway, this is part 2 of Midwest Murders, which has been way more fun than, and I don't, you know what I mean? The research has been interesting.
Right.
It's a rich category. There's a lot more. Like we should do this category again at some point because it's really fucking good.
And I think Florida gets a reputation for murders, but perhaps the Midwest has been overlooked,
I think so. I think the Midwest
some
is
gnarly
holding
stuff.
its own. Yeah. I mean, everywhere. It's like, oh, Florida's really bad. The Pacific Northwest is really bad. The Midwest is really bad. I'm like, I think there's just a lot of
everywhere.
Murder. Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah.
There's just a lot of murder. There's a ton of news, like murder related news right now. I was like, trying to recap what was going on, and it's just too much to even like get into. So
yeah, we'll do another Patreon special.
Yeah, we should. But I hope people are paying attention because I would say the last like 4 to 6 months of true crime news has been like sadly
off. Yeah.
But in some ways it's been really, really good. In other ways it's been a little bit of a bummer. But either way, you're not bored if you're a true crime fan. So
no, and lots of cold cases being solved, which is pretty cool.
I know. Did they announce
Bodies
the boy in the box
identified.
yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
We got to find out who that he is. They're saying he's like related to a prominent Philadelphia family, and I love me a good rich person scandal. So I am so ready for this. Like, I
Yeah.
really want to find out.
Yeah.
Like, was he like some forbidden love child? Like, who knows? I'm interested.
There's a story
to know,
there
though.
for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. So hopefully that he gets actually named. I know they said they were going to do a press conference this week, so we'll see. Remains to be seen. It's only Tuesday, so. Anyway, moving on. If you guys would like to join us on Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/twistedlisters. If you'd like to join us on TikTok, it's just at Twisted Listers. If you would like to join us on Instagram, you can do that at
Twisted Listers PCast.
If you'd like to check out our website, you can do that at
twistedlisterspod.com.
And if you'd like to send us an email with case suggestions or just to say hello, you can do that at
twistedlisterspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, although most of you reach out to us via Instagram, which is pretty sweet. But we do get
good, yeah.
Yeah, we do get the random email, which at this point almost feels like getting a letter in the mail by comparison, because it's almost feels outdated in itself.
Oh, old-timey, yeah.
Yeah, very old-timey. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna go first since you close or wait, yeah. No.
Yes, you go first.
I go first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you went first last time.
Yes.
There we go. Okay.
Yes, we got it.
I'm so confused. It's COVID brain, guys.
It's COVID. Yeah.
Don't blame it on anyway. All right. So I am actually doing a tale of survival.
A very famous one.
A very famous one. A very recent one. But, I didn't know a lot of the details, so I'm glad that I got to research it, and I hope you all like my retelling. So this is the story of Jayme Closs. This takes place in Barron, Wisconsin in the year 2018. Jayme Closs was a 13-year-old girl who was born and raised in Barron. She and her parents, James and Denise, all lived together. She was an only child, and she was very close with both of her parents as a result. She was especially close with her mother, who friends say was shy and kind, just like Jayme. So it's really cute because she's named after her dad, but her personality, she takes a lot after her mom. So she's like this little perfect little mix of the two parents, So she had lots of friends. She was an absolute sweetheart, super nice girl. And she just had a really good, mellow life. So both her parents worked for Jenny O, which is the turkey company, the turkey, I always buy their ground.
Frequent customer.
Yeah, hell
goods.
yeah.
Yes.
Very good shit. And they both worked in the processing plant. I'm not sure what their exact roles were, but I do know that they had like a pretty nice house. They did not seem to want for money. Most of the people from Barron worked there. It's not only the main employer for Barron, but it's kind of the main employer for many of the towns in that general area. So people would travel pretty far to work there. So her parents both had full-time jobs at the same place. So Jayme would often, in fact, every day, she would take the bus to school, and she would walk a short distance home from there, but pretty close. It was essentially out front of her house. And at 13, this isn't typically something like most parents worry about, which I think in general is fair, especially in a small town like Barron, which had a population of like 3,000 people in 2018.
Okay.
So tiny. So really safe, really mellow. And this is just what she does day in and day out. Then, on the night of October 15th, 2018, just around midnight, Jayme's life changed forever. Her dog, Molly, started barking and woke Jayme up. From there, she saw a car pulling into her driveway, so she went and woke her mom and dad up to tell them something was going on. As she's doing this, someone starts pounding on the front door. And we're talking like over the top crazy, let me the fuck in the house kind of pounding, right?
Yeah.
So really fucking scary. So Denise takes Jayme and they go lock themselves in the bathroom and hide for safety. And meanwhile, James goes to the front door with a flashlight and he shines it out the front door to see who is knocking. And he sees a man in all black with a black ski mask on and holding a gun.
Terrifying.
So James is half asleep, right? So yes, this is terrifying. But he mistakes this guy for an officer. He thinks this is a cop.
Oh.
Because he's fucking not awake yet, right?
Oh
So
gosh, yeah.
he's like, "Can I see your badge? Like, I want to see your badge if you're trying to come in the house." Meanwhile,
Good
the
question.
guy, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, go James.
Mhm.
Like, you don't just fucking cooperate with the cops. Why the fuck are they pounding on your door at midnight, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like, "I want to see your badge." And meanwhile, the guy's screaming, like, "Open the door, open the door." Once
Wow.
this masked man realizes he's not getting anywhere, he raises his gun to the door and shoots through it. I think there's like a plate glass kind of window surrounding the door, you know, like one of those like
Yeah.
fancy little doorway things. And so he shoots through that and shoots James directly in the face.
Oh my gosh. Because I was just about to say, like, why would he open the door for him? But I forgot that he didn't.
No, he did not open the door.
Literally did not.
He never
Wow.
did. So this man then shoots the doorknob off the front door and enters the house searching for Jayme and her mother. He finds them in the bathroom, which he also, I think he kicks that door down, and they're hiding in the tub, and Jayme is like openly weeping. And in fact, he did. He shot into the bathroom to force the door open. So had they been in the line of fire, he could have killed them at that point.
Yeah.
So Denise and Jayme are in the bathtub, and it's later described that Denise is holding Jayme in a bear hug while Jayme is sobbing. The man screams at Denise to tape Jayme's mouth shut with duct tape, which he hands her. And when she doesn't do it quickly enough, he puts his gun down, takes the tape, and tapes all the way around Jayme's head, including like in her hair. He then unceremoniously shoots Denise, killing her. And he does this while she and Jayme are both still in the tub. So Jayme's mother is now executed in front of her. He then takes Jayme. I know, it's fucked.
That's like, you can't get more trauma than that. That's like insane.
No, it's truly just like unbelievable. Like, how would you ever? Yeah. So he then takes Jayme, he drags her out of the house and into the night, forces her into the trunk of his car, which, by the way, he had removed the escape latch from previously. And he drives away. As he's driving away, he pulls over and parks while cops scream by toward the Closs home. The cops were alerted because Denise had actually been able to use her cell phone to call 911 just before this man broke down the door. But all the 911 operator heard was like screaming and like fighting. So they did trace the call, but it was already too late. They got there in 4 minutes after the call was made, and he was already gone.
It's not bad, but
no, it's not. But he was in and out of this house fucking quick.
Yeah.
After the cops went by, the man drove away with Jayme in the trunk. Now, this case made national news. Jenny O offered a $15,000 reward for any information leading to Jayme's recovery or an arrest in the double homicide. Groups of Jayme's friends and church members, because her family was super active in the church, they were holding like candlelight vigils. They were singing songs for Jayme. They were hoping for her safe return, obviously. They were doing interviews on the news, begging whoever took her to please return her. I mean, this case was so well known that had Jayme been seen anywhere, she would have immediately been recognized.
Yeah, huge news.
And I can say that with absolute certainty because after 88 days in captivity, when Jayme was finally able to escape, the woman she asked for help immediately knew who she was. So, before we get to that, let's go back a minute and talk about what happened and who this fucking guy was, right?
Yeah.
21-year-old Jake Patterson was born and raised in Gordon, Wisconsin, which is not a city, but a township of around 600 people. Gordon was nestled in the mountains, surrounded by trees, and was so small that it had no schools of its own. Instead, Jake and his 2 older siblings had to drive 10 miles each way into the also very tiny town of Minong, Wisconsin, to attend school. When Jake graduated high school in 2015, he was one in a class of 34. So, tiny little town, tiny little school. It was one building that held everybody from kindergarten through 12th grade. That kind of school. So very, very small.
Yeah.
As for who Jake was, that's actually super hard to answer. All the people who knew him said sort of the same thing. He was just kind of there. Some people were like, he could be super funny at times, but he rarely made jokes in class and instead spent most of his time either like totally distracted or straight up asleep. So he would like sleep in class. Other students described him as wanting to fit in, but lacking the social skills to do so. So, like, nobody disliked him, but just nobody cared enough about him to like give a shit that he even existed. I don't know if anybody you're not a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, right?
I'm not.
Okay, well, there's one episode where there's a girl in high school and she's ignored so much that she turns invisible. And when I was reading about him, I was like, oh, he's like the invisible girl from Buffy. Like, that's what I think of. Even his teachers, 3 years after he graduated, people went back and they're like, do you remember this kid that was in your class? And they're like, no, I don't know who the fuck that is.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
That kid went here. Like, that's how fucking unremarkable he was.
He's pioneering, and being unremarkable.
He is.
He's working on it.
He is a pioneer. I mean, in a class of 34, it's difficult to not know who somebody is. And yet, here we are. So I guess he was a member of the Quiz Bowl team, which was like some kind of like, competition for like smart kids, Sure. But otherwise he was like completely unremarkable. His grandparents later remarked that he was more into video games than he was into people. Apparently his brother was something of a troublemaker and at one point had sexual assault charges against him. And I think he and Jake would like get together and get into trouble. But Jake never had anything like actually on his record. So again, nothing about him is remarkable. He had no social media, or if he did, he deleted all of it. So there's no presence online whatsoever. And as far as we know, the only job he ever had, at least on record, was at the Jenny O plant.
Okay.
And he worked there for, I think, 1 day before quitting, giving the excuse that he was going to move away. Now, I've also read that he actually worked at a cheese factory, which in Wisconsin makes a lot of sense, but I'm not sure
what's the cheese.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what's correct, so I'm reporting on both things. Either way, he had one job ever, quit it very quickly, and basically was doing nothing. Now, his parents divorced in the year 2007 when he was like 12 or 13. And I think for a time, his dad still lived in their cabin with the boys. But eventually, both parents moved out of the cabin and left Jake and his older brother there alone. I don't know where his sister went, but I know that he and his older brother were living alone in this cabin when they were like teenagers and had no parental supervision. But also we're dealing with like the type of people who live in a cabin in the middle of the woods in Wisconsin. I feel like they probably have kids that are like fairly self-sufficient,
You would hope, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Ugh. And also like their cabin was even farther outside of Gordon. So it was truly like their
rural on rural.
Yeah, their nearest neighbors were like vacation homes. So it wasn't even people who were there year round. So it's just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever job he had, apparently he was working early in the morning, and when he quit, he was driving home and he happened to drive past a school bus with kids getting on it to go to school. And one of the kids that he saw getting on that bus was Jayme Closs. He immediately became obsessed, began stalking Jayme while preparing to kidnap her, and later on said that the moment he saw her, he knew she was the girl that he was going to take.
What? I mean, my follow-up question is like, was he looking for a girl? Or
that's
like
my
it kind of
question.
Sounds like he was planning to do this in general and was just looking for a candidate.
Nobody asks that question. So I've read interviews and things with him, and it's unclear. It almost seems like in the moment he saw her, he decided he was going to take someone and that someone was her. But I don't know. How long was he fucking planning this, right?
Yeah.
It's very scary. So he even went to her house. He's a terrifying fucking guy.
Yeah, he's really, really fucking scary.
So he drove by her house 2 separate times before actually attacking her, I think as part of like planning for the attack. And on the night that he attacked her, he first shaved both his head and his face so that he would leave no hair DNA. He wore 2 sets of gloves, the face mask, and also chose a gun that would cause maximum damage, but was also a common enough gun that it would be difficult to trace. He used a shotgun.
So is he bragging about this later? Like this
of course
is him?
He is.
Like
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But also he like broke the latch on the trunk so she couldn't get out either. So like he's bragging about how well he planned it, but he also planned it like kind of well. Yeah, he did. But also he said like when he drove up to the house, he cut his engine off so that he would just roll up into the driveway. And my question is like, why cut the engine just to announce your arrival moments later by pounding on the door? Now, maybe the dog barking was like, I'm caught, I might as well pound on the door. But it's like, if you're just going to walk up and pound on the door.
Didn't want them to have he didn't want them to have like too much advance warning time.
I guess that part of it seems kind of dumb.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. So anyway, you know what happened after this? I mean, who knows? Obviously the guy's an idiot, but like, I don't know. That just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why cut your engine if you're then going to start yelling? Like, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, so his dad still lived nearby the cabin, and I think his brother was maybe in jail. So essentially, Jake was living in this cabin by himself, and this is where he took Jayme, and he locked her in there for 88 days. He would make her sleep in bed next to him. And when she wasn't sleeping in bed next to him, he would force her under the bed. He had like a 2-foot gap between like his bed frame and the floor. And he would make her lay under there. And the way he would keep her in is by shoving heavy boxes and like free weights and dumbbells and things against it so that she couldn't get out. Now, what he said, and as far as I know, this has been confirmed because he was never charged for any of this, is that he never sexually assaulted her.
Okay.
He of course later said that he didn't sexually assault her because he felt too guilty about what he did to her parents.
So
again.
Okay. I don't think he did necessarily feel guilty, but that's interesting that that's the reason.
That he frames it that way. Well, yeah. Also, look how clever I was in the way that I pulled this off. And he says things like later on after he gets caught, he says things like, I never would have been caught except for X, Y, and Z, like except for this and that, and
he's trying to frame himself as like a good guy too by not sexually assaulting her. Like he's trying to make himself seem like better.
Exactly. And there's more to come of that, which is so fucking annoying. But it's also really interesting because when he talks about killing her parents, it's so fucking matter of fact and like emotionless that it's fucking chilling. Like it's really, really scary to see how like he's basically like talking about brushing his teeth. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I guess what he would do is if he would leave or have people come over, he would hide her under the bed and then he would turn music on so that she couldn't hear anything and so that people couldn't hear her in case she started yelling out or something. Jayme later said that there were a few times that she tried to escape, and at one point he noticed that the boxes had been moved around where she was captive, and he hit her with like the butt end of like a window blinds cleaner, so like one of those long, it's like a long kind of hard stick that has like a cleaner thing on the end of it, and he like smacked the shit out of her on the back of her head and said that like the next time she tried it, the punishment would be, quote, much worse. So Jayme mostly did as she was told, later saying that Jake would leave her under the bed for up to 12 hours without access to a bathroom, food, water.
Oh my God.
To me, it's not even clear why she was there. Like, he didn't
are they talking?
Assault her. Exactly.
She was like,
I don't know. And it's like, I don't know. Like, obviously he wouldn't let her outside because if he let her outside, even in the front yard, somebody's going to fucking notice her. If one person walks by,
Yeah, it's almost like he wanted to do this just to do it and to like feel like cool, like he pulled off a crime, but then didn't know what to do with her.
Exactly. He had no plan of why he even had her.
Yeah, and I think there is obviously a sexual element to this in his mind. Thankfully, he didn't act on it, but there's obviously, when you say like he was obsessed with her after he saw her, like obviously he's a fucking pedophile.
Of course.
But like, that's behind this, but like the fact of the matter is nothing is happening. There's no like reason she's there.
Yeah, this whole thing is like very,
for him.
It's just very like not actualized. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like the other weird things is that when he left, he wouldn't tie her up. He would leave to like go to the grocery store or like God knows whatever the fuck this loser was doing. He didn't have a fucking job, but he would leave for like hours at a time and he would just leave her under there. But I think like the music and not knowing where he was or he was coming back and the fact that he like did like, you know, assault her when she did try to escape. She's fucking terrified. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So the whole thing is just very, very bizarre.
It's almost like he wanted to acquire her, like as if she was an object. Like, he just wanted to acquire her. That's it. She didn't like care, you know, nothing else.
But it's like, it's so strange how well thought out, quote unquote, the abduction was. But then he didn't even have like a way to restrain her or any sort of even like short-term plan for her, really. You know, very, very strange. So luckily, on January 10th, 2019, Jake told her, I'm leaving for 5 or 6 hours. Don't go anywhere. And she's like, okay, you fucking idiot. And basically,
it's like, bitch, I'm gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the fuck out of this house. So as soon as he left, she just moved all the fucking heavy ass boxes and put on a pair of his shoes because, you know, he took hers away and ran out the door. She was wearing leggings and a t-shirt and a pair of his shoes. And she started running and she pretty quickly, very luckily, because again, like I said, this is like super remote. She found a woman who was actually his neighbor walking her dog. And she ran up to this woman and she said, my name is Jayme Closs. I need help. I don't know where I am. And this woman, Jeanette Nutter, or Jean Nutter, I think. Yeah, Jean Nutter was like, I know who you are. Let's fucking go. So I think Jayme indicated to Jean, it's like, it's crazy. There's James, Jayme, Jake, and Jean. So Jayme is now with Jean, and she says to her, this is the house that I was held in. And Jean knows who lives in that house, and she also knows that she's the next door neighbor of that house. So she does not take Jayme to her house because she doesn't know.
Too close.
Way too close. But she doesn't know. She doesn't want Jayme to freak out, so she doesn't tell her that. Instead, she takes her to another house, the house of Peter Kaczynskis, and his wife called the police, helped clean Jayme up. They calmed her down while Peter stood guard by the door with a gun. Because again, they don't know what's going on. This guy
could come looking for her.
And he fucking murdered her parents in front of her. Like, this is not...
Yeah, it's a dangerous fucking guy.
Yes, a very fucking dangerous guy. So the police arrive. They pick Jayme up. She tells them who her abductor is. And they go looking for him. And they found him super quickly because he was out driving around looking for her. So he was already out looking for her. God. When they pulled him over, he simply said, I did it, and surrendered.
Now, well, there's no fucking way around this shit, dude. Like,
yeah, but he's just so matter of fact about it. So they arrest him. They obviously charge him with everything, you know, kidnapping, the 2 murders. Like I said, they didn't charge him with any sexual assault, which is interesting, but also like good, you know?
Right.
In later interviews, he said meaningless shit like, you wouldn't understand why I took her even if I explained it. And it's like, oh, okay, you misunderstood, genius, you know?
Yeah, it's so hard. I'm just so deep in, you know, intellectually.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you're just a fucking idiot. You have absolutely no reason for what you did. You're just a piece of shit.
It's giving like incel narcissism energy, like basement dweller
big time. Energy. Fucking big time. Or like guy who lives in his dad's cabin in the woods energy. I mean,
I feel like this guy easily could have been a mass shooter.
Yeah, oh, for sure. This guy is like incel prototype, honestly. Like, my God. So he then, once, you know, he was arrested, he told the media that he pleaded guilty, but he told everyone that he did it so Jayme and her family wouldn't have to go through a trial. It's like, oh, thank you. You're so heroic and thoughtful. You fucking murderous piece of garbage. Like, so again, there he is like, well, I could have kept her forever, but, you know, and I was so good at abducting her, but, you know, I didn't rape her, and I'm not going to make her go through a trial. And it's like, you murdered her family. Shut up. Like, just shut the fuck up.
I shot a little girl's mom right in front of her.
Yeah.
But I'm a good guy because I didn't rape her. Like, okay, you fucking cool, smart guy.
Like really? That's where you're gonna put the line? Like,
that's God. It's like Charles Ng being like, but I didn't kill the babies. Like,
well, and it's like, well, first of all, yes, you did. But
you absolutely did.
Like, is that really where you think
that's the line? Okay.
Judgment starts? Like, no.
Yeah.
God damn, these fucking people. So Jayme was I should mention that Jenny O had raised the reward to $25,000 for Jayme's safe return. And when she was found, they gave her the money, saying that she earned it because she rescued herself.
That's badass.
Yeah, it is really badass. She then went to live with her aunt and uncle. She was reunited with her dog Molly, who thankfully wasn't hurt during the attack.
Thank God. I was just looking at pictures for this case, and like the pictures of her with Molly are really cute.
I know. I really hope, and I do honestly believe that dog probably gave her a lot of comfort in her, in the years since, where she's been, trying to heal from this.
They're family too.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I know that like other kidnapping victims like Elizabeth Smart came forward and offered their support and let her know that she wasn't alone. I believe now she's 17 years old. She's still living with her aunt, still in Wisconsin. And Jake got 2 life sentences without parole. And he had to be like transferred a few times for like fighting with inmates. Like people would like ask him about the trial and then he would like try to fight them and shit. So I don't know. Hopefully he's, getting his
also it's a high profile case, so he's probably not a popular guy.
No, exactly. I really hope that he's being like, we'll just say bullied. Let's just say bullied.
He deserves some bullying for sure.
I hope he's getting jail bullied. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
So that's the story. Fucking
what year did this happen? What was the
2018.
Date?
October of 2018.
What date?
October 15th.
Oh yeah. Okay, so as I were talking, I was pulling up all the addresses for the murder map, as I sometimes do. And the view of her house where she was taken from is the street shot was October 2018, and it has a sheriff's trailer and a sheriff's truck in the driveway. So I think this shot was taken right after this happened.
That is so dark.
Yeah, because the sheriffs are literally parked, and I think there's like crime scene tape. Yeah, there's active crime scene tape.
And that's the Google map?
Yeah. It says October 2018. Yeah.
That's so insanely dark.
Yeah.
I hate that. Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
Well, patrons, that's on the murder map, so enjoy.
Murder map. Yeah.
God damn. That's really fucked up.
So there's a little detail there. You can also see what's his face? Israel Keys on Google Maps.
So. Oh, I know. That's crazy. They did blur his daughter's face out, and I'm really glad.
Yeah.
So that's good. But fucking gnarly. All right, there's my story. I hope I did it justice.
Yeah, no, good job. It's a horrifying story. Obviously, I followed that one that happened, and I remember just the detail of her mom being shot in front of her is like really stuck with me. It's like that's so fucked up.
Yeah, I read the complaint against him, and they're like, we found her sitting upright in the bathtub, like motionless, and it's like
just the way the boldness of breaking in like that, and
also he used a shotgun, so it's not like he left them. Like you couldn't have like an open casket when you're shot in the face.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Shotgun.
It's also bold because like in this part of the country, like he could have gotten shot. Like someone like for knocking on someone's door, you get shot.
Yeah, we could retroactively wish that that's what happened,
Right.
He should have been so unlucky. But yeah, I know, right? It's true. But I think part of him like staking out the house, I mean, I don't know. He couldn't know whether or not they had guns, but I do know that he was like staking the house out and, who knows? He got lucky. Fucking asshole. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, what's yours?
My case is going to stay in Wisconsin. Actually, yeah.
Okay.
And didn't plan that. This is I actually totally spent like hours researching another case, and I told you I like shelved it, and I'll tell you about it on like a Patreon or something. But it was okay. But it was just like a girl murdered by an abusive boyfriend that was like no mystery, open and shut, and I was like, okay, I can't do this.
Like, this is just depressing. There's nothing interesting.
This is like a Tuesday. This is like so common. Right, so I wanted to do something that was also a bit more like reflective of like political dynamics in Wisconsin. Right. So this fits the bill.
Wait. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
So this is the story. I don't know that you know this. This is kind of, I hadn't heard of it. This is the case of Vang.
Oh, no. Because I looked up wait, is this the guy that's, okay, hold on. Just go. Oh, wait, no. Wait, Vang? Didn't somebody just post about that on our Instagram? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I looked up the one where the guy's like running for like a government position while like in prison.
No.
Anyway. Okay.
No, that was fun too. So this is happened in 2004 in I literally didn't get the location. Rural fucking Wisconsin.
Okay.
Oh yeah, well, I did actually get it. It's kind of near Peshtigo, Wisconsin, very rural. So
Okay.
Chai Vang was 36 at this time. He's originally from St. Paul, Minnesota, and he was a member of the Hmong community, which is Hmong people are an ethnic group from Laos. So they're Laotian nationally, but they're considered to be quite a separate group. They were allies actually of the U.S. forces during the Vietnam War. So the U.S. government flew in the CIA and roped them into fighting alongside us, which was a bad deal for everyone involved.
Big oops. Yeah.
So they sided with us, unfortunately. And after the war, they were persecuted by the communist Vietnamese government for, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And many Hmong people ended up fleeing and getting asylum to leave to the U.S. as well as Thailand, or the U.S. by way of Thailand. So huge Hmong community settled in Minnesota and Wisconsin, especially. I think like Minnesota has or Wisconsin has 100,000 Hmong people.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. So Chai here is a veteran of the National Guard. He is also a trained sharpshooter, which he learned in the military.
Oof.
And his father fought in the Hmong army in Vietnam. So it's a military family.
Okay. Yeah.
He ends up having 5 kids, I think, with his first wife. So he's a family man, question mark.
A lot of kids by 36 too. I mean, I guess that's like
you can
normal.
Do it.
Yeah.
So Chai's really into hunting. And he doesn't really think that there should be silly rules about like private property or like where one can and can't hunt. So he kind of like plays fast and loose with that.
Okay.
He ends up getting some citations for trespassing and hunting on private property, and for also going over fishing limits.
Oh,
you're only allowed to fish so much,
Yeah.
So he also had a history of being really violent to the women in his life. He put a gun to his first wife's head and threatened to kill her after he thought she was cheating, and he actually tried to shoot, but the gun failed to fire.
Okay, so this guy's the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
He actually also almost murdered his second wife by strangling her, and this was because she spent about $3,000 gambling.
Oof. I mean, that's shitty that she did that, but like,
yeah.
I mean, I'd be pissed, but I mean, I'm not going to try to kill anybody.
But maybe you just like break up or something.
They just sound like a bad match. Like neither one of them sounds
yeah,
very
but
healthy.
He's a violent guy. He likes, and you know what? I just want to say as an aside, quietly too, kind of like, unless you're indigenous, fuck hunting. Like I kind of like I give a pass to indigenous people because it's their like fucking time-honored tradition and they do it sustainably. But like otherwise, I just kind of don't like hunting.
Well, I think the whole idea of hunting is great. And I know people who hunt and they use everything that they kill.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
When people do it correctly, I actually like it a lot more than like farmed meat and like farmed animals.
Right. I know. It's just like I really should honestly be vegetarian. Like I'm a hypocrite because like when I was watching people holding up the dead deer and stuff in like the documentary I watched about this, I was so uncomfortable. Like this is really grosses me out. Like,
but that's the thing. It's like I think for people, it's like, well, if you want to eat meat, then you should be willing to like kill it.
No, I admit that I'm a hypocrite. Yeah.
But no, I get what
it
you're
farmed
saying.
and in a little package, and
so you don't have to think about what happened. Yeah, totally.
No, okay.
That's why I don't eat pork or beef. So anyway, okay, but fuck chickens, so I eat the fuck out of them. Okay, go ahead.
Fuck chickens.
I fucking hate chickens.
Okay, all right. So back to Chai here. So on November 21st, this is also like a kind of Thanksgiving time. I think that's a big hunting season there is around Thanksgiving. November 21st, or I guess 20th, the night before, friends come to get Chai around 1:30 a.m. to go camping and hunting. I guess they start in the middle of the night. I don't know why.
That seems weird.
So for a long hunting trip, so he tracks a doe successfully like late in the middle of the night and shoots it in a public forest where he's allowed to.
Okay.
Then kind of later that morning, he's like all night hunting, right? Somehow he gets kind of lost. He's about 2 miles from his campsite and he finds a tree stand, which I looked it up. It is kind of like a seat or like outpost that's attached to a tree where you can kind of like sit as if you're a bird observing, right? So he kind of says he gets up there to kind of get a sense of where the fuck he is. So he gets up in the tree stand, or maybe he is hunting in it. I don't know. A lot of this is unclear. But he gets in the tree stand, and mind you, this is someone's private property he's on now.
And does he know that?
It's unclear, but like I said, he doesn't always like play by the rules or care. Yeah,
right.
so it's unclear if he knew and didn't give a shit, or if he probably just didn't know.
I mean, that is really hard to know unless there's like a fucking fence all the way around it.
Right.
It's very, very hard to know. Yeah, it's really hard to know if you're on private property.
Yeah, it is. So he's lost, or he's trespassing, however you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he also covers his face in a kind of a camo face mask. So maybe he is hunting. I don't know. You're just keeping his eyes out. So the owners of the 80-acre property he was on are friends Terry Willers and Bob. I keep wanting to say it Croteau, but they don't say it French-wise. I think it's, God damn, I forgot how to say it. That's not right.
Okay. How's it spelled?
Crotteau. They say it differently though. Croteau. It's like Croteau. That's it.
Croteau?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like French.
Not Croteau. Yeah, it's Croteau. Yeah,
they muddy that shit like the Canadians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So Terry and Bob own the property, and they're there in an adjacent cabin pretty close by with about 13 friends and family members, all kind of having a hunting trip as well.
Probably Thanksgiving kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And Bob's son Joey is there as well, and a bunch of different friends who will come through. So Terry sees him in the tree stand from the cabin, and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck?" So he goes over and asks Try to get the fuck down. They have somewhat of a well, like, I'm not going to call it a civil conversation. They have a conversation. The character of it is unclear.
Okay.
Try comes down and apologizes for, he said he was lost, didn't know where he was. And Terry follows Try to kind of, as he exits the property, to kind of show him how the fuck to leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a conflict is going to ensue, specifically when Bob Croteau rolls down. So Bob is like, I'm going to tell him what the fuck is up. Like, Bob's pissed that he was there.
See, I'm sorry, I don't fucking like that, because unless that's here's the thing, and I don't maybe have enough information, but I've definitely had people act that way when it's like an honest mistake that literally anybody, including them, could have made. And it's like, don't fucking come at me crooked for some shit that like anybody could have done. Like, if you want to be mad about this, put a fucking fence up or put a sign every 10 feet. And if you're not going to do that, then fuck off. Like, have a little understanding for people. I'm sorry, I just hate people like that. And also, private property is bullshit. Give the land back. Okay, go on.
Private property is bullshit. I deleted that rant. I was going to do that rant, but I deleted it.
I did it. I did it. Okay.
It is kind of bullshit. Yeah. Especially like 80 acres. Like, what do you need to own 80 acres for, you fucking
asshole? Can fucking chase people off for sitting in a fucking tree? Like, get out of here. Yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Anyway, so you're going to hate Bob more too, because he apparently also uses a bunch of racial slurs for Southeast Asian people that I will not repeat.
Oh, so weird. A hunter white man in Wisconsin is a racist? That's bizarre.
Yes. So a conflict is going to ensue, and the character of this conflict differs depending on who you believe. But Chai will say that they basically surrounded him, and they were just kind of, throwing all kinds of slurs and horrible language at him. And that he also says that Joey Croteau blocked him twice as he tried to leave. Like, where do you think you're going? Kind of thing. So he's getting
Get off our property. Where do you think you're going? Well, I'm going off
right. Trying to leave. Right. And they also, in their later testimony, Terry will say that he told his friends when he went back to the cabin, he got rid of the tree rat. They call him the tree rat.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Quite a lot. Yeah. So they're not hiding it. They're kind of open about these several of these terms. Jesus. So Bob asks for Chai's name. This is in the kind of conflict here. So that he could file a formal complaint about him trespassing. But Chai says, no, not going to give you my name. So Joey and some associates there basically swipe his back tag, which is essentially the hunting registration information. It is as good as having his ID, basically, all his information.
These guys are a bunch of assholes.
Yeah. So Chai then flipped him off, but Chai denies that. Chai claims that he was walking away, and he goes from the confrontation to his vehicle. This is sort of winding down here, the conflict, right? Mm-hmm. Joey tells Chai that he will report him for trespassing one more time. Like, final, just so you know, I'm doing that. Okay. And fine. Chai is walking to his car. So ultimately, they do let him leave.
Okay.
The conflict is over.
Did they keep his ID?
I think so. They took it.
That feels illegal, but okay.
It's like a tag, a piece of paper. It's not like his driver's license.
But it's still, they stole his property. They are taking it from him and not giving it back to him. And it's a license. Like, that's, I don't know. Anyway, Go ahead.
So when they're about 30 yards apart, again, they've broken up here. Chai crouches down, and a moment later, flips around, and in one motion shoots Terry Willers with his rifle.
Oh shit! What?
Yeah.
Okay, but Terry testified, so he's not dead. So I don't have to feel.
Terry was the only one in the group who was armed. None of the other men had guns.
Okay.
So he shoots him first, and Terry tries to hide from Chai, who shoots him again in the neck.
Oh shit!
He does survive, as I already spoiled. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
He then turns the rifle on the rest of the group, chasing them around. He shoots and kills Bob instantly, shooting him in the chest.
Oh, fuck.
Terry is somehow able to call back, radio back to the cabin for help. So kind of forces and help is mobilized pretty quickly. But Chai is going. He shoots Joey several times, including shooting him a final shot in the head.
Oh, fuck.
He then finds Alan Lasky and Jessica Willers. Jessica's, I think, is Terry's wife in a truck nearby. He's walking around looking for people.
Oh, he snapped. He fucking snapped.
Yeah, he shoots them. He shoots another guy. I wrote them all down. Who also survives. I forgot his name. And then at one point he circles back to this guy. I think his last name was Heesbeck. I didn't get his first name. And he says, "You not dead yet?" And he shoots him again.
Wow, does he die?
He tries to shoot him again, but his gun ran out of bullets.
Holy
so the only
shit.
reason these two guys survive is because he was out of bullets. And at this point, he can't shoot anymore, so Chai flees.
Okay, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. And then he also, so ultimately he killed Joey and Bob Croteau, Alan Lasky, Jessica Willers, and two other guys, Mark Roit and Dennis Drew. So he kills 6 people and he shoots 2 other people.
Holy fucking shit.
People back at the cabin called for help, and the police show up, obviously, and find the scene of the massacre. They also quickly find Chai, who is in a car getting a ride from another hunter away from the area.
So he's just like nothing ever happened. Just I'm out.
Just bailing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2005, Chai Vang goes to trial. He pleads not guilty for reasons of self-defense. And this case will hinge on the fact that Chai claims Terry was reaching for his rifle. And he also claims that he heard a shot about 40 to 50 feet away.
So that doesn't no.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think I think what happened, especially given Chai's history, is that he was really fucking mad.
Yeah, I think he was pissed.
With reason. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He was very mad, and that's what happened. I do not think Terry shot first. That's my opinion. It is disputed. But his defense is basically that if I didn't shoot, he would have shot me. Terry admits he had his gun kind of in front of him, so that could be what Chai saw or was referring to, but he had it out because he thought Chai might shoot at him.
He wasn't wrong, was he?
And he wasn't really aiming it, is what he says. He just kind of had it out.
But here's the thing, why are all these people behaving this way? This is a very simple situation to avoid. I don't understand.
I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest condemning thing for me against Chai is that they didn't fire back, though. You know what I mean?
They didn't have guns.
No, I know, but I'm saying when he starts shooting, they're running.
Right. And if they're in a car, he's shooting people in a car that
are essentially trying to get away. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a gun battle. It's not a mutual fight, you know?
No, if you're following people that are getting in a car trying to get away from you and shoot them, there is no fucking way that is self-defense.
No.
They're actively trying to flee.
They're running.
Come on.
And they also do not find a spent casing from an evidence of that supposed shot that was fired.
Right.
But it's difficult to know. People kind of also, who I think are more on his side, frame it as who could know? We can never really know who shot first. When it's we
can kind of figure it out.
Yeah. The prosecution presents Chai's really obvious violent past.
Right.
And now, he also made a statement that comes out at trial when he's a truck driver, and he says at some point that he considered running people off the road with his truck. When they quote unquote verbally berated him. So there's always a reason, right? He always has a reason why he had to do it, why he had to be violent.
Right. It's always somebody else's fault why he acts the way he acts.
When he's asked about his 2 attempted murders of his 2 wives in the past, he blames them. He was like, "Oh, well, she gambled my money. I fucking had to." You know,
right. It's there's no other alternative way to behave in that situation. No, dude, come on.
Yeah. He goes on the stand and he's not a great witness, I will say, for himself, because he literally says the Croteaus deserve to die.
Oh, fuck. At least he's like consistent. You know what I mean? Like he's still
Yeah.
very angry.
He's because they were basically like, did these people deserve to die? And they go down the list. And he does say that some of the other people didn't. But basically the people who were racist and the guy who he said was drawing a gun, he said they did.
Wow.
Yeah. So not a great witness. Wouldn't have put him up there.
No. No.
So the jury only deliberates for 3 hours, pretty fast, and they find him guilty on 6 counts of first-degree murder.
Ooh, yeah.
And 3 counts of attempted murder. He gets, obviously, life.
Mm-hmm.
And he absolutely has defenders, especially in the Hmong community. His family defends him ardently in the press conference and in interviews since. They basically say he was cornered, he was surrounded, he was scared. It was 8 guys against 1. And you know what's interesting too is even though the white people are the aggressors in this scenario at first, it's like it does their defense of Chai kind of sounds like stand your ground sometimes, where it's like
a little bit.
He felt threatened, so he could massacre all these people. It's like,
well, there's no here's the thing.
Be careful with that argument.
If he shot Terry, and kind of left it at that, or if he shot Terry and then there was evidence that like he shot the other people because they were rushing him, that would be a fully different thing than what sounds to be the case is that they were running away and he was following them.
Yes, and the fact that he went out of his way kind of to make sure to get everyone and to walk around and make sure he shot everyone there, like
you not dead yet? Like that's not self-defense.
It's not self-defense-y. No, it's really not.
Not at all.
And also the fact that he shoots people multiple times in the head, he's making sure they're dead.
He's doing like headshots. And this is a trained military guy, so it's not like he doesn't know how to make sure somebody's dead.
Exactly. Yeah, he knows how to use a gun.
Mm-hmm.
One of the jurors made this quote, and I just thought it was a very apt kind of like summary here. Mm-hmm. Quote, I came away from the trial really not liking Croteau, Bob. He was full of himself with all his friends around, even though the other guy had a loaded rifle.
Mm-hmm.
He was so into his bullying and being the big guy that he didn't suspect what Vang, who is 5'4" tall, was capable of doing. His actions didn't justify 6 murders, but he behaved really badly.
I mean, so that's kind of, it's hard because his punishment did not fit the crime of being a dick, but the guy's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah, so like I said, my summary here is like it's very complicated because clearly amongst the group, there's some fucking racist assholes.
Yeah.
However, Chai is an asshole as well. And we know this from his past. This is not like a nice guy who snapped. He's also a dick in life.
Everybody sucks in this story. Like,
yeah. And see, like I said, the bottom line to me is that he shot people who were running away.
Yeah. And it's like,
come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, the way it's just,
he's not even, no, it's fine. Like, he's not even saying like they were all yelling at him or they were all being racist. And like, you are the company you keep, but like just by virtue of standing there, they weren't necessarily guilty of doing nobody was guilty of doing anything that like was punishable by being murdered by some fucking rifle wielding asshole. But
no, and it's like everyone can be the asshole. And I think this case was very divisive along racial lines, and the way you can see the headlines, if it's on like a Hmong community blog, the way the headline literally is written is like Asian Hmong man surrounded by racists and defends himself, gets life in prison, right? It's like it's written in totally different ways.
Well, it's because everybody has an agenda and nobody just wants to say the truth.
But the truth is they're all assholes and they also did not deserve to be murdered. So
agreed.
And also the whole group, the whole 13 were definitely not all assholes. There's kids, younger people. And also by the way that some of the statements of the victims' families I heard, which were extremely sympathetic to Hmong people and saying, I hope this doesn't inspire violence and all this stuff. Like the way that they talk about it indicates to me that the group was not assholes across the board.
Yeah, the actions of one was not indicative of the actions of all of them.
The mindset of everyone.
Right.
So a couple points here. Sorry, this is long, but it's like a crazy case.
No, I'm into it.
So after the murders, there was a ton of racism against Hmong people, which is not unfortunately surprising because there's already like racial tension with this community there. There's tons of graffiti and bumper stickers with hate speech. There was bumper stickers in the area that said, quote, save a deer, kill a Hmong.
Wow. Isn't that like incitement? Like
it should be,
or whatever. Yeah. Like I feel like that is that you should not.
So there's and like I said, even some of the victims' families say like we really just didn't want this to, like people to hate Hmong people for what happened, and like this is unfortunate. And crazily, in 2007, a couple years later, a Hmong man named Chai Vang, no fucking relation.
Oh, fuck.
Same exact name, was actually murdered by a white man named James Allen Nichols, who shot him and stabbed him before hiding his body in the forest. Sorry, this is near Peshtigo, Wisconsin. I got the locations mixed up earlier.
Gotcha.
And James pled not guilty, also claiming self-defense, but he was found guilty and got 60 years in prison.
Okay.
And Hmong people actually came out and voiced anger about that sentence, saying it was too light. And I mean, it's pretty heavy still, but So Nichols actually made racist statements about Hmong people in the past. His boss had reported that he said that he would have killed a Hmong hunter that he saw in the woods. This is a story that happened, but he didn't have a rifle on him, but he wanted to kill him.
So why was this not a hate crime? You know what I mean? Like it is. It just wasn't.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that was just one example of anti-Hmong violence that happened afterwards. And like, I guess Hmong people also like to hunt a lot, potentially, or something. Like there's a presence of hunters from that community. And there was I don't know what context this was given in, but there was this really awful speech in the documentary about this crime where this old white guy is like giving a speech about like how the Hmong hunters have like overrun, quote unquote, which is very racist language. Overrun the fields, and they're all trespassing, and they're everywhere, and they're overfishing and all this stuff. So clearly there's a tension in the hunting community. Then this happened, and then shit just got worse and worse.
Ugh, that's so fucked up. Like I don't even know where to start. Everybody knows how I feel about this. This is fucking terrible. People are terrible.
Yeah, people are terrible.
People are just terrible.
And also the irony, like, sorry, just one more thing. The irony of, I think in one of the slurs they were saying to Chai, they said like, "You communist, something, something, get off my land." And what's so fucking funny. And it's like, my man, read fucking history. Like the Hmong people, including Chai's dad, fought alongside American soldiers, literally killing communists.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, these guys are racist, and they've also never, like, bothered to Google Hmong people or, like, look up one basic fact about why they're there in Wisconsin. They're there because communists are persecuting them.
I mean, you know that most racists are very well educated and big time thinkers. They are very brainy.
I couldn't get over that they called him a communist. I'm like, he definitely isn't. Like,
you're like, do you not understand how much he's not? Like, the reason he's here is because he super is not.
Super not, yeah.
Which also, anyway. Like, they're wrong. They should be communists. But
I mean, look, it sucks that we roped in extra people to Vietnam, which was a shit show. Because no winners there.
The fallout continues. Fuck, dude, that's crazy. I almost did the story of the man who killed his wife right after she finished, like, right after she beat cancer. She like finished her chemo, and then he murdered her, and now he was like running for and then he was like
horrible. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because that's like comically horrible.
No, I know. So that's what I do when it's so bad. I have to laugh because like I have to like take a while to like process it. Then he was like running for like, I don't know, like not governor, but something fucking big, and like while he was awaiting trial. But he ended up dropping out. So anyway,
okay. Crazy I almost did a guy who like cannibalized someone, but I was like, I just did that. So
yeah, you don't want to get too redundant. Cannibalism.
Double cannibal.
All right, guys. Well, there it is. Those are our 4 from the Midwest. We'll do this one again for sure. There's so much good stuff out there. What are we doing next? It's
Christmassy because it's cold.
It is, right? Yes, very like, and these were all weirdly happened like, or today's both, they happened like in the holiday times kind of. So yeah. What's our next one?
So yeah, I decided, and I was thinking about it, but then you sent me a very interesting case that put me over the edge here, and it's holiday themed, and it's going to be mall murders.
Yay!
Murdered at the mall.
I'm so excited. Yeah, that's
I'm actually like the mall is actually like the first place I want to go when I'm COVID negative. I want to like bust up in the fucking Century City Mall.
I know it's weird, but like I need to go. We haven't got Ollie any Christmas presents hardly at all yet, and now I have like no time. So
Santa, you gotta.
I know. I have to go to a mall because I can get a bunch of stuff there. So that'll be fun. But yeah,
just get COVID negative by Friday, and then you can come with me.
Fingers crossed, man. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Fingers fucking crossed. All right, guys. So next week will be mall murders. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for telling people about us. Pretty exciting news. It's not going to be on this episode, but next episode, you guys, we have our first paid ad. Oh my god, we're
Very
making
exciting.
steps, we're getting fucking big.
Getting rich.
So we're gonna be rich. But yeah, also it's a fucking rad company. So I'll tell.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna tell you guys about them in my recorded ad, but also just like because they're fucking awesome. So
nice.
Anyway, listen for that, guys. Very exciting. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing us with everybody. And until next week,
stay
off our
best.